Um, so till yesterday, we were focusing on the writing section of the test. From today onwards, we will move on to the speaking section of the test. And let me also tell you just the general facts about how tests are held. Did you know that the IELTS test is held over 2 separate days? The four tests, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, aren't held on the same day. The speaking test is held separately from the other three tests. So, writing, listening, and reading, three tests are held on one day, back to back without any break in between. So, for 3 hours, three tests continuously. And on a separate day, the speaking test is held. The separate day, you will never know that day. When you see in the calendar on the date that your exam is supposed to happen, that date is for the writing, reading, and listening test, and any date before or after that could be your speaking test date. Usually it is within 1 week of that test. So if your writing test is on a Saturday, a week before that and a week after that, throughout that period, any day the speaking test might happen, which they never tell you when it is going to happen. They schedule it very late. So many times what happens is 1 or 2 days before your speaking test, they will send you a confirmation of it. Writing is always on the same day, but speaking you never know. So one thing that sometimes people miss out on is, let's say your test is on a Saturday and you live in a different city, you don't live in here, and then you think on Friday you will come to this city, but just on Thursday you might get a message that your test is tomorrow. So you would never know which day the test would be. So always get prepared. 1 week before and 1 week after that, the test can be held on any day. And the confirmation you get only 1 or 2 days before the test happens. The confirmation will come by a text message on your phone. So you will receive a text message that will say your speaking test is scheduled to be held at a time, like let's say 3 p.m. or 2 p.m., whatever the time is. And they will send you the venue as well. Like in Biratnagar, there are two venues. One is in Harrison Hotel Tinpaini, and the next one is Ratna Hotel Bus Park. And this could change as well. Right now, these are the two venues. So they will send you the venue, and they will send you the date as well. So come on this date at this time at this location on the text message that you get. And when you go there, you have to go with your passport and a colored photocopy of the passport as well. The page of the passport which has your picture on it, that page, take a colored photocopy of that page as well, and the original passport, and dress in a very normal clothes. They don't say what clothes to wear, but don't wear extraordinary clothes, just normal plain clothes, like whatever all of us are wearing right now, just clothes like that. So just go there for that. uh, and they also say you should come half an hour before the time. Like if the time is 2 p.m., go at 1:30, because they have to register you first. So they will take your picture, they will take your fingerprint scan, your face scan, they will write your names, they will make you sign on things. So it takes some time for that as well. That is why go half an hour before the test begins. And you, like I said, wear plain clothes. You are not allowed to wear anything else, like plain clothes, and maybe if you see need looking glass, maybe looking glass, spectacles, but nothing else. Like no wristwatch, no rings. I'm not wearing a ring, but no rings, no bracelets, no necklaces. These things are not allowed. Just looking glass if you need them, but nothing else. Now if you have a special disability for which you need something, then maybe you have to tell them beforehand, but nothing else is allowed. Having said that, they don't personally go and check your finger if you are wearing a ring or not, but it is not allowed. So rather, don't wear them. And if you have to wear them, take them with you, take a bag with you, leave everything inside the bag for at least the test, and then collect it afterwards. So when you before you go to the exam center, exam hall, leave it outside and then come back and collect it, because you will take some things with you. You will take a mobile phone, maybe a purse, maybe. So leave them outside and then go inside. The test is held individually, so one person at one time with the examiner. And again, in this also there are two different ways of taking the test. In some test centers, you actually physically meet the examiner in that room, and they will ask you sitting across the table from them. In some other test centers, the examiner will call you on a video call, not in your home. You have to go to the test center, and in that computer you sit in front of the screen, and the examiner is not there. Examiner is in their own home, wherever they are, and they will arrange a video call with you, and then through video call they ask questions. So that both in Biratnagar, if you know, the IELTS test is conducted by two institutes. One is called IDP and one is called British Council. Both institutes are just partners in the test. The test is created by somebody else. The questions are not created by these institutes. They just take the test. And in British Council Test Center in Biratnagar, they do it by video call. So you go to the Ratna Hotel, and inside the room, when you go inside the room, you will see the screen there. You sit in the front of the computer, and they will arrange the call. You don't have to call; they will arrange the call for you. They will get everything ready, and they just let you in front of the screen. And in Harrison Hotel Tinpaini, where IDP conducts the test, there you will see an actual person in the room who will be asking you questions. In any case, the test is the same. Whatever questions they will ask you, the way they conduct the test is exactly the same. Just how it is taken is different, and it depends on your own personal preference. Which one do you want to take? Some people think taking on a screen is very difficult, but it is not. You do video calls with your friend. It is not difficult to see. And don't worry, there will not be network problems. If there will be, then they will again check it first. They will not just, you don't think that you will not understand what they are saying. And some people think like face to face is more difficult because you get nervous in front of people. Depends, like whichever you think is easier for you. Students take both. Some people take British Council, some people take IDP, and both get good or bad scores. The test itself is not what is determining the score. How you perform determines the score. Anyway, the test that actually happens is 15 minutes long. When I say 15, not exactly 15, but around 15 minutes long. 11 to 14 minutes to be exact. So at least 11 minutes, at most 14 minutes is how long the test will be. So when you enter the room, they might ask your name, they might ask you where are you from, but that is not the test. The test only starts when they say, now I'm going to start the test. Whatever they say before that is just chit chat. They want to know you, maybe they want to hear your voice, they want to make you comfortable. So don't worry about other things. Like some people say, I forgot to say good morning or something. Don't worry about that. That is not how they are judging you. Did you say good morning? Did you say hello or not? They don't judge you on that. They just judge after the test begins. So they will tell you, now I will start the test, and they will record the test as well. You will see they have a recorder. They will record the test, then the test starts. So after that, there are three parts in the test. The first part is called the introduction part, where they ask you personal questions. Personal questions, as in questions about your hobbies, your interests, your likes, your dislikes, your friends, your families, questions about those topics. So, typical question is, how big is your family? Or a question could be something like, what do you like to eat? What do you do in your free time? Questions like those, just personal questions, and you are supposed to give short answers. By short answers, I don't mean a single word or a single sentence, but 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, not a very long answer. So, two or three sentences, not much. That is the first part. Second part is called long form. In second part, you have to give a speech, which is around 2 minutes long. So, they will give you a topic. On that topic, you have to continuously talk for 2 minutes, like a speech. And again, the topic is personal question. The question could be my favorite teacher, or my favorite holiday, or the most memorable day in my life. Questions like those. And on that topic, you have to give a 2 minute speech. That is the second part. And the final part, the third part is called discussion part, where they will ask you impersonal questions. Impersonal means questions not about you, questions about society, about media, about entertainment, about science, about geography, about politics, things like those. The questions that we had been dealing with in writing, essay writing, similar kinds of questions will come in part 3 of speaking. Again, these are not personal questions, but you can use personal examples to explain the answer, whatever you think like about the topic. So those are the three parts, and the final part, again, you should give short answers, not very long answers. So that is what the speaking test is. Just sit in front of them. They will ask you questions, answer them. Take it as a conversation. The only difference is you don't have to ask any question, they will ask you the questions. It is not like an oral exam that we take in school or college. It isn't like a viva test, because they are not judging our knowledge. They are judging our English speaking ability. So don't worry too much about your own personality, your own looks and things like these. They don't judge these things. This is just the words that come out of your mouth, and they judge those words in terms of four things. So one thing that you may think about is, speaking is a subjective thing. Like when they ask you, what do you like to eat? There could be million possible answers to this question. And any of those answers could be good or bad. Like, what do you like to eat? And if you say, Momo is my favorite food, can be one answer. Or a different answer would be, my favorite food is chow mein, could also be an answer. There are different kinds of answers. And they are judging your answer according to different criteria when you answer the question. The content is not what they are judging. Like if you say Momo or pizza or burger, that's not what they are judging. You can have whatever favorite food you want to have. But they are judging four different things. Think of it just like a dancing competition. When you dance on the stage, what does the judge look after? They might be looking at your costume, maybe. They might be looking at lip sync, maybe. They might be looking at your hand movements, stage covering. So, the different criteria that we have to fulfill when we speak. So, the first one is called fluency and coherence. Fluency means the ability to speak without taking unnecessary pauses or unnatural pauses. Let's, for an example, think they ask you, where do you live? And the answer is, I live in Viratnagar. If you say that, I live in Viratnagar, or wherever you live, I live in Kathmandu, I live in Nepal, whatever the answer is. If you just say, I live in Nepal, that's a fluent answer. But if you say, I live, if you do that, if you hesitate when you speak, which is unnecessary, like if it was a question where you really have to think, like if they ask you, who do you think is the best politician in the world? Then you have to think about, okay, the best politician, maybe Mahatma Gandhi, I don't know. You have to think about it. But if it is a question like, where do you live? How much do you need to think about that? It's a very simple question to answer. In that case, don't take unnecessary pauses. Or if they ask you, what do you do in your free time? Don't say, I, in my, that's what people do often. The reason why they do it may be of several types. One thing is, since English is not our native language, we may know what to say, but how to say in English may be difficult for us sometimes. That could be a reason why we pause while we speak. Second thing is, we may not find the right words, we may not know the translation. Like we like this, but how to say that word in English could be a thing. Third thing is, we may not know grammatical structures to answer the question. Fourth thing is, we may not even know what to say. Like if somebody asks you what is your favorite food, and let's say you like five different types of foods. Now, which one is your favorite? You sometimes get confused, like which one should I choose right now? Or if they ask you what is your favorite color, like you start thinking white, black, red. So that might be confusion in that, or maybe just lack of practice, nervousness. Different reasons could be there. That is what might affect fluency. But to overcome that, just speak naturally without taking unnecessary pauses. I don't mean speak very quickly. Speak slowly at your own pace, in your own style, but don't pause after every single word, or don't hesitate when you speak. Or there's also a thing called a false start. A false start is starting to answer the question but not knowing how to end the answer. For an example, if they ask you something like, which is your favorite day of the week? Then you start answering, my favorite day, the day which I, Sunday is the favorite. People do that. People start the answer and they don't know what to say after that, and they'll again start from the beginning. So over and over they start and don't know how to finish. These all of the reasons might affect your fluency, but just saying Sunday is my favorite day or my favorite day is Sunday. Out of the 7 days, I like Sunday. However, you say it, the exact way you say it doesn't matter. Fluency, quickly saying it is the first thing, and coherence is whatever you say has to have meaning in it as well. Just randomly saying 5 or 6 words quickly doesn't mean you will get good score. Fluency means that. Like, let's say they ask you what is your favorite day, and you said uh, Friday is the day of the planet Venus. Venus makes us fall in love. You answer in that. What is the answer? Like nobody still knows what the answer is. Or if they ask you, what is your favorite food? And if you say, my mother likes to make pizza at home. Okay, your mother likes to make pizza at home, but what is your favorite food? So just because you are fluent doesn't mean your answer is coming across to the listener. The listener has to realize the answer as well. The meaning has to be clear. So both have to be maintained. If you are clear, but your fluency is lacking, then you will not get a score. But if you are fluent, but there is no meaning to your answer, again, it is not enough. Both have to be maintained. Say it without taking pauses and say it in a meaningful way so that the listener understands you as well. So both are the first criteria. The second one is called lexical resource. Lexical resource means vocabulary, the words that we are choosing to use when we answer the questions. Again, since English is not our native language, what might happen is we might not know the exact word for exact situations in English. So, using a wide range of technical vocabulary means words which fit the right context could be a thing. Like, do you know in Nepal we say copy and book? But actually, not copy, it is notebook. In English, it's called a notebook. In Nepal, we say copy. So that is what is not using the right word. We are just using word which is not right. Or people say mobile, but people don't say mobile phone. The full thing is mobile phone. Saying I have a mobile is understood. You have a mobile phone, but mobile is not enough. It is mobile phone. You have to say it properly. Things like these could be hampering. Or another thing that commonly people make mistake is in Nepal people think bike means motorcycle, but bike means bicycle in English. Motorbike means motorcycle. So everybody, if you say I have a bike, people think you have a motorcycle in Nepal. But bike means a bicycle. So we may not know the exact words that are used in English, or we may again know words, but we may not use it in the right context, and that is how we get good score using right words in the right context. The third thing is grammatical range and accuracy. Now, accuracy means your grammar has to be accurate, obviously. Range means you have to use a wide range of grammatical structures. What I mean by that is, throughout your school days, or in, I don't know, in your own practice, you may have learned about active voice, passive voice, direct speech, reported speech, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, or adjectives, prepositions, all of these things. Your answer should contain all of these things, a range of grammatical structures into your own answer. Simple sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences, compound complex sentences, all of them have to be used. What I mean is, somebody who lacks grammatical knowledge may be able to speak in English, but when you listen to them, you know they don't know much English. Like, have you watched those videos when foreigners come to Nepal and shoot in village areas? They talk to the local people. The local people don't have good English, but still they start talking anyway. So, something like, let's say you are asked about Nepal, and you say, I live in Nepal, my family lives in Nepal, I like the mountain of Nepal, I like the river of Nepal, just repeating the same structure over and over again. But somebody who has the knowledge of complex grammatical structures might say, I like Nepal because it has very good mountains and rivers. My entire family lives in Nepal and I have been living here since my birth. Saying in complex structures, not only using the same basic short sentences. So that is how you get good score. It is just like singing. In singing, A good singer can sing high pitch, low pitch, slow songs, fast songs, rock songs, rap songs, all kinds of songs. That is what range means. And the fourth thing is called pronunciation, which I think is the most important thing in speaking. What happens is, if we don't pronounce words accurately, by accurately I mean as close to a native speaker as possible. When we speak, our voice should sound as close to a native speaker. I don't mean exactly a native speaker. I don't mean it should sound like a British or an American person, but the pronunciation that we make, the words that we say, should not be very difficult for them to understand. The thing is, have you ever talked to a person from a different country, like, let's say, like, I mean, native English speakers from UK or Australia or Canada, maybe? What happens is, when you talk to them, many times it is not that you don't understand them, they don't understand you what you are saying in English, even though we talk in English, because our pronunciation does not match with what they want, what they are saying. It is just like when foreigners talk in Nepali. When they talk, we know that they don't know how to speak in Nepali because the words don't sound natural. Same thing happens with English as well. When we non-native speakers of English talk in English, our words may not sound natural to them. And two things might happen. Either they understand what you are saying, but still your pronunciation is bad. In that case, you will lose marks for this criteria. But sometimes they will not understand what we are saying at all. In that case, you will not get any score. So if they understand, even if our pronunciation is bad, we lose some marks. But if they don't understand, we don't get any marks at all. So it is very important to maintain pronunciation. Same thing with grammar as well. If the grammar is bad and they don't understand what we are trying to say, then how will they give us marks? That is the thing. And mispronunciation happens for a lot of reasons. First thing is, there are many words in English which we adopt in Nepali, but we have our own pronunciation for it. Like in Nepali, the English word glass, we say gilas in Nepali, if you know. Or the English word table, we say table in Nepali. So these words, which we think we are speaking in English, sometimes we get confused. Like we use the Nepali pronunciation when it comes to English. Like in English, the word bottle, we say bottle in Nepali. So when we say bottle in English, they might not understand what we are trying to say. Could happen. Second thing that might happen is, we might be learning the wrong pronunciation from the people that we hear from. Like in Nepal, who talks in English? Your teachers may be in school, maybe your English teacher in school. Who else talks in Nepal, English in Nepali? So they might be mispronouncing the word, and you might have learned the wrong pronunciation by them from them. For an example, in Nepal, most people use the word people as people. But people say people. Like this word, the exact pronunciation is people, but people say people, which again somebody said it in the beginning. Everybody learned the wrong pronunciation, and it is common right now to say people, but it is people. So things like these in Nepal we learn wrong things. The thing is, we can forgive our old teachers for that, because in the past there was no internet. So how would they know how to speak in English? They just saw books, and then from the book, whatever they thought the pronunciation would be, they said that. But right now we know, we can listen to our local people of America or UK or Australia talk, and they don't say people, they say people. That is how we should say the word as well. And there are other reasons as well. When you grow up using one language, a different language is always difficult for us to learn. But the good part is, we are not learning English just right now. Since our childhood, we have been learning English. So we know English. We may not know the exact pronunciation of every single word, but we know most of the things. Only few things are remaining to learn that we may not know. So we can learn those things. Don't worry. I will give a separate class for pronunciation as well. Anyway, these four things are judged when you speak, and they are judged independently. Your fluency may be good, so they will give you good marks for fluency, but a grammar may be bad, so they will get less marks for grammar. They are judged separately. And notice, other things are not judged, only these four things are judged. Your dressing sense is not judged, your personality is not judged, your When you talk, your body language is not judged, your eye contact, your hand movements, these things are not judged in the IELTS test. Remember, it is not a job interview, it is an English speaking test. So they don't want to hire you and then see how presentable you are, how what your personality is, because they are not going to give you any job. They're just taking your English language test. In that case, if you don't feel confident looking at their face, you can look down as well. You can look away as well. You don't have to face them. You can use your hand to express. You can just tie your hands in your arms like this. Doesn't really matter. You can dress with like you can wear a very nice suit for the exam, or you can just wear whatever you like to wear. Doesn't really matter. These things would not give you the marks. Only these things will give you the marks. But having said that, I don't mean look away. Look at them when you speak, but that is not how they are judging you. I am not saying wear bad clothes, but again, they are not judging you on the basis of what clothes you are wearing. But you still look presentable. We are human beings, so look good. Maybe look at them when you speak. Don't look away. Things like these. So that is what the speaking test is. And how do we learn speaking is from three different things. First thing is you have to know what to say. Just because you know what to say, you know how to speak in English doesn't mean you can speak everything. Like I know how to speak in English, but if somebody asks me, give me a lecture about biology, I don't know about biology, so I have to know what I want to talk about as well. Have you listened to politicians? Some people talk in very good English. Have you heard our prime minister talk in English? No. You can watch interviews, he can talk in English, the prime minister of Nepal, but only if the topic is about politics. If you ask him about music or movies, maybe you will not be able to talk in English. If you know something, then you can talk in English or in any language. Our prime minister can talk in Hindi as well, in any language. But the topic is always politics. If the topic is something else, then it will be difficult for them to speak, obviously. So first of all, you have to know what you have to say. So in speaking, like I said earlier, either personal questions are asked or questions about the world is asked. So for personal questions, you have to know about yourself. Many times we don't know about ourselves. Like think, right now, whatever jackets you are wearing, if I ask you, why did you buy that jacket? Do you have an answer for that? Why did you buy this one? Like that one. Like you know, but I don't think you have actively thought. Like what would I say? Why did I buy this jacket? Why did I buy it? How much money did I pay for it? Maybe we have forgotten these things as well. So sometimes when they ask us the question, we don't know what to say. We are not prepared for the answer. Even though it's a very simple question, but we did not think about it. Could be a reason. Like commonly in the class, I ask questions like in the book, we have those questions. Where would you like to visit in the future? And people just say, let's say New York or Paris or Tokyo. People say these names, but if you ask why, people don't know why. People that have just heard the name Tokyo, but what is there in Tokyo to visit? Like what is there a park in Tokyo? What is there? People just have the name but don't know the reason for it. Or when I ask what is your favorite color, people might say my favorite color is green, but why? People would not know to say. So knowing what to say is the most important thing. Second thing is practice. Just thinking is not enough. You have to actively speak, because when you're speaking, multiple things can happen. One thing is we might be nervous. We might not be sure how our voice sounds to the listener. Like unless you speak, how do you know how your voice sounds? And I would recommend you even record yourself on a mobile phone and then listen to yourself how your voice sounds. Because I also had this misconception. I thought my voice was very beautiful. When I started recording videos in the class and listen to myself, I know my voice is not very good. So you have to listen to yourself how you sound to people. That is the second thing. The third thing is uh, using the exam format as well. Like when I said in the part one, you have to speak for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So how to give a complete answer in 10 seconds? Now 10 seconds may be too long for someone or too short for someone. Somebody might speak for 30 seconds if you don't stop them. How to complete the answer in 10 seconds? Or somebody might not even be able to say 5 seconds when you start speaking. So using that format, like I said in part 2, you have to speak for 2 minutes. That could also be a difficult thing. Like somebody might not be able to speak for 2 minutes long, or for some people 2 minutes may be very short. So using the exam format is also something else. So there are different things to learn. In this class, how we will approach this test is, each day we will learn about one different concept of speaking, and we will apply that to different questions. So I will give you some phrases, some vocabulary, some grammatical structures to use in speaking, and then I will ask you questions in the class to see how well you can use them. The thing is, how to say the answer is what I am going to tell you in the class, but what to say is your own answer. Like, if the question is what is your favorite food, now my favorite food and your favorite food are not the same things. So if I say my favorite food is samosa, it may not be your favorite food. So you should not say that. You should say whatever your favorite food is. So you have to know what to say. That is obvious the thing. And for that, what I recommend you do at home is, in your own free time, always think. Think from the beginning of your life till now, everything that you have done. And this is a very nice soul searching journey for you as well. If I ask you, think the first memory of your life. What do you remember? The first thing you remember about your life. Obviously, you don't remember when you were born. You were very small at that time. Maybe when you were 3, 4, 5 years old, you remember anything from the beginning time of your life. Like, if you ask me, my oldest memory in my life was when I was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old. At that time, my father had a job in Duhabi, and then we used to live in office given quarter. So multiple staff of the office used to live in the same building in the quarter, with their own families. And I remember another family in that quarter. They had some daughters, so they were very older than me. I remember one rainy day, they were carrying umbrella. I don't know exactly when that was, but when I think of the oldest memory in my life, that is what I remember. It was raining, they were carrying umbrella, I was watching them, something like that. So my first memory. Then after that, I don't have any memory much, but I remember when I was, I guess, 4 or 4.5 years old, I broke my arm. I fell down from a chair and I broke my arm. I remember that day as well. I was standing on the chair and then I fell down. I remember that. Then after that, I remember my first day going to school. I remember that day as well because I have a picture of that day. The first day I went to school, there was a photographer living next to our house. He came and offered to take a photo of my first day. So I have that picture. I remember that. But I don't remember what happened in that day. So things like those. From the first day of your life, not first day of your life, first day of your memory till now, what do you remember? When you were in class 1, class 2, your maybe SEE exams, your plus 2 exams, in school, your different teachers in school. Think about all of those things, because who knows what they are going to ask you in the exam. And just saying a generic answer is not enough. For an example, if they ask you in school which subject was very difficult for you, and just saying physics was difficult because the numerical was hard is not enough. Be specific. Physics was difficult. Mr. Das was our physics teacher. He used to teach us very strictly in the class. When we asked questions, he used to get angry with us. So I was afraid to ask questions. So I never learned. Be very specific. What was the question? Like, was it about uh, calculating force, or was it about calculating pressure? Think these things. Many things we have in our brain, but since we don't actively recall these things, we may have forgotten these things. But they are still in your brain. Go back to your old Facebook photos, look at them, remember what happened on that day. Because again, giving a very specific answer that relates to your personal life is always what is the best for the IELTS test, rather than saying a generic answer. And generic answer, everybody can learn generic answers. Like, if they ask you what is your favorite day, Sunday is my favorite day because it is a holiday, is not enough. Or Sunday is my favorite day because every Sunday I wake up late in the morning. When I After I wake up, I lay on my bed for 2 hours. I don't get off my bed when I wake up. I just use my phone for 2 hours. Maybe something very specific that you do personally. Like, for me, Sunday is a holiday. For you, Saturday is a holiday. I guess it's different. Having said that, I think I'm very lucky. I have 2 days holiday, Saturday and Sunday. Anyway, so think about these things actively. When you are in your room, look outside the window and think, if tomorrow somebody asks me in the IELTS test, what do you see outside your bedroom window? What will you say in that case? Think about that. Like, think, in my room, there are two windows. One window is facing the west, and one window is facing the north. On the western side, I can see a road and there are trees. There is one house, but the house is blocked from where I see. When I look out the window, I can just see the road. And I always know if dogs pass by on the road because my house dog barks at them whenever they pass. So whenever my dog barks, I look outside to see if somebody had come, but it's usually another dog that he sees, a stray dog. To the north of my house, there is a road. The road goes from Rajbansi Chowk to Puspalal Chowk, and on that road, a lot of vehicles pass, and it is usually crowded. Just two things that I see from my window outside. Just things like these. If tomorrow somebody asks you about your mobile phone, what will you say? Like, which mobile phone do you have? You know which mobile phone you do you have, but can you speak for 2 minutes if they ask you that in part two of speaking? Like, when did you buy your mobile phone? How much did it cost? All of these things. So think about that, and that is how we actually approach the speaking test. Many times we don't know what we are going to say because we have never thought about it, but we know, just we haven't thought about it. Anyway, since today is the first day of our class, I just want to hear your voices. The important thing is, if you have some speech impediments, some speech problems, how would you take the IELTS test? You have to be able to speak. Your voice has to be clear for the listener to understand as well. That is also important aspect. And if you have problems in that, you have to fix those things. If you have some throat problem, you have to fix those things. If your voice is very low, you have to increase your voice maybe. If your voice is very loud, maybe you have to say in a soft voice as well. You have to fix these things. You cannot answer in sign language in the exam. You have to talk. For that, I'm going to ask one question to every one of us, and let me hear what you say. The question is same question for everyone. The question is the farthest place that you have gone to from your home. So wherever your home is, from that place, the farthest place that you have gone to, what is that place? Remember that place. The name of the place. It could be somewhere locally, like if you have not traveled much from Biratnagar, maybe Dharan, maybe or Beretar, maybe if it is not very far. If you have gone farther in Nepal, maybe you have gone to Kathmandu or Pokhara, maybe Mustang, maybe even Mahendranagar. Or if it may be in India, you have gone to maybe Chennai or Agra, wherever you have gone to. It may be where Thailand, wherever you have gone to in your life, the farthest place. Not only the place name, think when did you go there. If you know the exact year, very good. If not, say a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, things like these. And if you also can remember, why did you go there? What was the reason? A college tour, maybe for a wedding ceremony, for education purpose, for traveling, whatever the reason is. I will start and then I will ask each one of you to answer this. And also, I will say the name as well. So I will say my name first. I will say the place where I have gone to, when and why. So let me begin. My name is Gaurav Thapa. The farthest place from my home that I have gone to is the Mustang district of Western Nepal. I went there in 2012 with my friends for traveling. That was my answer. Okay, now your turn. So I'm very glad the way all of you answered the question. It is exactly like that. All of your voices are good. It is easy to understand. That is the main thing I was judging. Because some people have a different kind of voice, which is very difficult to understand. In that case, you have to improve the voice as well. But anyway, you could answer the question, so very good. Since we have some more time remaining, what I want to do now is I will just begin something. I will give you some phrases to speak in English with. I will write those things here. I want you to use those in your answer from now onwards. So, do you remember earlier I said most questions in part one of speaking, they ask you about your personal preferences, your likes, your dislikes, what you like. So, if they ask you about your likes, as in what is your favorite movie, what is your favorite food, what is your favorite color, questions like those. In that case, how to answer it? Using phrases like this. In this way. So, if they ask you what is your favorite food, you can say, I am a fan of momo. Or if you really like it, you can use these words as well. You can say, I'm a big fan. These are optional words if you want to use them. So the thing is, when they ask you about what you like, you can simply say, I like this. But using these phrases are going to get you more marks, in my opinion, in the exam. And the words in the bracket are putting stress on your answer. You can say, I am fond of, or you can say, I am very fond of, which means a lot of something. You can use them in your answer. So I will ask you some questions about what you like. Just use any one of these phrases. You can use number one or number five or number whatever you like, and that one word at the end will be your answer, whatever that thing is. So let's move beyond just saying I like this, I like that. Let's use these phrases now. Like, it's all of them mean the same thing. You like something. All of them mean you like something. I like this, I like that in a different way. Just that we don't have much time. There are things to learn how to say I dislike something as well, because you might be asked those questions, and not every single question will be what do you like. Sometimes they ask other kinds of questions as well. But basically, part one of speaking, they will ask you personal questions, and you have to answer those. And again, only this one line is not enough. You have to say two or three lines. You have to explain that. When you say rainy weather, why do you like it? You have to explain that as well. But still, that is the beginning of our answer. Anyway, thank you for today.